What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Another video means another dopamine high, so to buy something to feel something. And today we're back at it with another review. And today's review is something a little bit special, a little bit different. We're taking a look at a figure that, is discontinued, but I had to get my hands on because a while back I did a review on Figma's The Doomslayer, and this figure was absolutely amazing. The visual presentation was stunning, the articulation was great, and I loved the accessory selection, so much so that I did eventually fall into the Figma rabbit hole, and I wanted to see everything Figma had done, whether it was in the present or past. And I found out all the way back in 2019 they did a Xenomorph figure, and I knew how to get my hands on it. So that's what today's video is all about, is taking a look at this figure, because I thought it'd be fun to look at this blast from the past, similar to my McFarlane Halo 3 Security Spartan review that I did a while back as well. So with all that being said, at any point during or after the video you do really want to pick up this figure for yourself, you can get them for a whopping $126.28 on Amazon, which I find strange because I picked up this figure for about $90-ish on Amazon, so I guess the price has gone up since then, but there is that option for you. And then the prices do vary on eBay. I will put an eBay link for this figure, and it seems like that if you do want to get this figure for much cheaper, eBay is the way to go, which you rarely see these days. So yeah, links will be in the description of the videos if you do want to pick up this figure online, of course. And another link that I will be leaving in the description of the video is the Good Smile Company article on this figure if you want to know some more information on this figure from Good Smile themselves. Not that I won't be informative in this video, I'm always super informative, but just if you're interested in that kind of stuff, there will be a link in the description to the article for this figure. And with all that being said, let's move on to the review. So taking a look at the packaging, and forgive me if the packaging is a little beat up, I did buy this from some random dude on Amazon, but on the side we have a nice photo of the figure, and then on the back we have more photos with the accessories included, just seeing what the figure is all about. And then on the other side of the box we can see a nice photo of the figure yet again, and then moving it to the front we can see that everything is included. So let's open this up. So starting off with the head articulation, you can get a full 360-degree spin out of the head, which is nice to see on this figure. And then you can have the figure look up and down a good amount as well, so I like seeing that on my Xenomorph figures. And then when it comes to the side to side, you can get a very nice tilt. So overall, very happy with the spherical rotation and range in the head. And just, yeah, overall very happy with the head articulation on this figure. So when it comes to the arm articulation on this figure, you can rotate the arm 360 degrees up and over, which is nice to see, and that means you can spin the arm 360 degrees as well, which is great to see on this figure. And then when it comes to bringing up the arm, you can get some decent range. So if you want him to look like he was jumping or going for an attack, you can do that. And then you can also have him open up, or have it look like he's opening up his arms to give you a really big hug or something of that nature. You can do that with this figure, which is nice to see. And then moving down the arms to the elbows, you can get a nice elbow bend, which I really like. You can get those shoulder taps, or at least close to a shoulder tap. Basically, you can have the forearm go past the 90-degree mark, and then with the forearms you can rotate them 360 degrees, which is nice to see. And then moving down from that to the hands, you can rotate those 360 degrees and bend the wrist however you please. So overall, very happy with the arm articulation on this figure. When it comes to the torso articulation, you can rotate the torso 360 degrees, which is always really nice to see on these figures. And then when it comes to the back and forth motion, it is really good. Very happy with the range here on this figure. And then moving away from that to the side movement, very happy with that as well. Just gotta be a little careful because you don't want to pop the figure in half. But with all this range in mind, you can get a nice spherical motion out of the figure, which is again really nice to see. And I am overall happy with the torso articulation on this figure. So moving down the legs, you can get a full 360 degree spin. You just gotta be a little careful because sometimes you might pop off the legs, but that range is obtainable nonetheless. And then moving away from that for a nice split, you can can get an okay split. I wouldn't even say it's half a split because the carapace plating on the thigh does clash with his waist, which it is what it is. That we've seen this for a while now with Xenomorph figures. And then you can have him bring up his legs all the way, so if you want him to sit in a chair or off the ledge of a cliff, you can do that. The knee articulation is good. You can have him do butt kicks, so you can have him, you know, display a bunch of poses, running poses, action poses, whatever. You can do that because of the knee articulation. And then you can rotate the lower leg 360 degrees as well, which is nice to see. And then the foot, you can pretty much bend 360 degrees and rotate the ankle however you please, so nice to see that there for this figure. And overall, very happy with the leg articulation on this figure. And then finally we have the tail, which you can bring up or down a decent amount. Very happy with the range there. And then you can rotate the tail 360 degrees, and unlike the NECA tails for the Xenomorph, there's no wire. You can't really position it however you want. It's in a fixed position, which honestly I don't mind. I know some people might, but honestly I don't. So my overall thoughts on the articulation of this figure are, I'm very happy. I feel like every area of the body had good range of articulation. Nothing felt too loose or too stiff. I will say that if you do try to fully rotate the leg 360 degrees, at times the leg would fall off, but you could just pop it right back on, so it's not necessarily the end of the world, at least in my opinion. So yeah, overall, again, very happy with the articulation on this figure. Now, starting off with the accessory every Xenomorph figure comes with, and that is the second mouth. Now, my only issue is that I cannot pull it out for the love of God. I've tried so many things. I used pliers, I used my hands, I used every little tool that could grip onto the second mouth, and it would not come out. I don't know why. I don't know what the person before me did. I don't know even if it's their fault, but like if you look at the packaging, you can see that the second mouth does come out, and it just, unfortunately for my figure, that just won't happen. So I can't really show it off too well, but it is there nonetheless, and you can still close the mouth of the figure and all that. It just, you know, you can't really do anything else. And then after that, we do get some swappable hands, and at first glance you might be a little confused because the pair on the right looks exactly like the pair on the left, and I thought that too, but I can kind of see that the pair on the right is a little more relaxed than the pair on the left. So I would assume if you're gonna pose your figure in a more relaxed, neutral pose, you'd use the pair on the right, whereas if you were going to pose your figure in a more aggressive pose, you'd use the pair on the left. But that's really all I can gather from these. I wish that Figma maybe made the aggressive hands a little more aggressive, made it look like these would be hands you'd use for the Xenomorph also latching on to something. I don't know, just a little more curl in those fingers, just something like that. And then moving away from the Xenomorph, Figma did decide to include a little Facehugger, and when it comes to the visual presentation, the sculpt work is fine. I think the paint job is a little lazy because it's just all the same color, despite Facehuggers having some color variation on them. And I do really like the tail that does kind of support him up, but if you don't like this tail, you can switch his tail to a more traditional looking tail you'd see with a Facehugger toy, and you can just easily swap this out by unplugging one tail and plugging the other one in. So at the end of the day, despite how I feel about the visual presentation of this accessory, I do appreciate the fact that Figma did decide to include it. And for our final accessory, we have this stand, which I love. I love it when companies decide to include stands for your figure. And assembly for the stand is pretty straightforward. You just plug the stem into the base, and then at the top you plug in this little adapter, and you're pretty much all set. The articulation for this stand is great. The articulation really allows for you to have this stand plugged into your figure, whether they're standing up high or low, or in just a variety of positions, which I really love to see here. And it's stuff like this that makes me believe that we should normalize companies including stands for all their figures. So when it comes to my overall thoughts and opinions on the features and accessories for this figure, when it comes to the second mouth, because I did buy this from some random person on the internet, I don't know if it not working is because of the person I bought it from, or if it is something on Good Smile's end, so I can't fairly, you know, build a case against that. And then when it comes to the swappable hands, it did feel a little underwhelming. I mean, the thought is appreciated, but I wish there was just a little more variation between the two pairs of hands that we do get. And then when it comes to the Facehugger, I do appreciate the fact that Figma did go ahead and include one. I enjoy the swappable tails. I really like that variation there. And then the visual visual presentation is what kind of killed me. Don't get me wrong, the sculpt is fine. It's just the paint job felt a little lacking in my opinion. And I think the only accessory I don't have an issue with is the stand. Very happy with it. I think it's well built, it's sturdy, the articulation on it is great, and I just overall think that, you know, it's a really good figure stand. So when it comes to the visual presentation of this figure, overall, it's good. I'm happy with it at face value. I think the sculpting work is great. Good Smile really got down as many details as possible, really encapsulating the design of the Xenomorph. My only complaint is I wish there was some more color variation throughout the body, similar to my complaint with the Facehugger. The only difference is with the Facehugger, they just did not paint any of the fleshy bits at all, whereas with the Xenomorph, it just some more shading would have been appreciated on the body. Now, despite how nice I was about the visual presentation for this figure and its accessory, there's one issue that I do have that I haven't brought up yet. Why does the promotional stuff look way better? I don't know why. It kind of makes me sad because it does look really good. Even if they didn't get the fleshy parts down by the Facehugger, it still looks way better than what I have. And even the figure itself looks a little better. There's a little more brown. There's some color variation. You know, that thing I kind of wanted to see. Yeah, I have no idea why my Xenomorph and Facehugger don't look as good as the stuff that we see on the website. I get it that, you know, prototypes and whatnot, but prototypes usually don't look as good, and the final product tends to look better. And then I have this ass backwards shit. I don't know what that's about. It kind of bums me out, not gonna lie. And again, I don't know who to blame, whether it's the person I bought it from, or if it's Good Smile, or if just these sands of time. I genuinely don't know. And I just feel really bad because I do really like this figure, or at least I'm trying to like it as much as I can, because I do appreciate the features and functions it comes with. And it is, you know, the articulation is great, and I do like how it looks, even if it isn't as good as what we were supposed to get, I guess. With all that information now out of the way, let's put this bad boy into scale with some size comparisons. Starting off with Figma's The Doomslayer. Then we have NECA's Alien Big Chap, NECA's Predator 2 Elder Predator aka Greyback, Hasbro Star Wars The Black Series Imperial Stormtrooper, Jazzwares is the Spartan Collection Halo 3 Master Chief, Jazzwares is the World of Halo Infinite Master Chief, and finally we have McFarlane's The Doomslayer. So here we are at the turntable segment in the video. This is pretty much where I go over what I like, dislike, pros, cons, strengths, and weaknesses, and just give my general thoughts about the figure. And if there's anything that you do want to bounce off of and go down into the comment section below, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, I'll reply to y'all's comments because obviously I like talking about this stuff. And as per usual, I like to get the sour stuff out of the way first because I don't like dwelling on the negative any longer than I have to. And if I'm being completely honest, only 3 things do come to mind. The first one being the second mouth not wanting to work. That is such a pivotal play feature for every Xenomorph figure, and it sucks that it didn't work on mine. Now I don't know if I should blame the person who I bought it from off of Amazon, or if this was an issue that, you know, happened on Good Smile's end. I don't know, but it sucks that it happened. Then the second thing that does come to mind is I wish there was some more variation with the swappable hands. I wish the aggressive hands just looked a little more aggressive, because if you look at both pairs next to each other, you could hardly tell the difference. And then the last thing that comes to mind is the visual presentation, or at least how the visual presentation looks in comparison to the promotional art of what I should have got when it comes to this Xenomorph and Facehugger. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was on Good Smile's end or if it was on the person who I bought it from's end. I just wish that my Xenomorph and Facehugger looked as good as what I see on the box or on the website. And then shifting over to the positive side of things I did really like about this figure. Starting off with the articulation, like I said, all areas of the body have great range of articulation, 0 complaints there. I really enjoyed the fact that we did get an adjustable stand for this figure to pose our figure in a variety of ways, whether it's them standing up high or getting low. And despite how I feel about the Facehugger's paint job, I do appreciate the fact that we did get one included, and I do enjoy the fact it does come with a swappable tail. And I will give this figure and the Facehugger a bone and say that despite how I feel about the paint job being a little flat, the sculpt work on both of them is really good, and I do enjoy looking at it. So that's pretty much everything I have on this figure. I'm not saying that this is a bad figure. It is objectively a fine figure. The articulation is great, the visual presentation isn't shit, and the accessory selection is alright. but there's definitely better out there. I do highly recommend picking up NECA's figures. You get way much more for cheaper, but I still don't regret picking up this figure. It was definitely an interesting figure to look at, and I am definitely going to take a look at getting Figma's Predator figure. So with all that being said, I really hope you all enjoyed today's video. A like and a subscription would be phenomenal. And then you don't have to worry about commenting. I get it. It's a lot of effort moving those fingers of yours. But if you do want to bounce off anything I did say and, get a conversation rolling in the comment section, you're more than welcome to. I'll most likely reply to y'all's comments because I love talking about this stuff, obviously. And don't worry about the bell. We both know that shit is broken. And if you want to see more content like this, there's plenty of it up on the channel. I already have a, handful of reviews about stuff from the Alien or Predator franchise by NECA, so if you do want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. And then I also review stuff from the Halo and Star Wars franchise as well, so if any of that just interests you at all, go check it out. I promise you I won't leave you disappointed. And with all that said, please have a great day and stay hydrated. It's important.